We have an expert guest here today, Olivia Parks, who will be sharing with us the secrets and the society rules behind the making of The Undoing.
Hello, hi Bianca. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and I'm a big fan of the show, and I've done a lot of research on the show, so I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for being here, Olivia. We need you. We need your expert opinion, and we love you that you are here today to share that with us.
Thank you. So let's hop into showing the trailer of The Undoing so we can give our audience a little background.
Yes. Let's see the lovely trailer that you bought for us.
Hey.
Hey.
Just one moment of your time. One moment.
It's what rich, entitled people do when threatened. They conceal the ugly truths to protect themselves. And they think they can get away with it.
Hello, everyone, and we're back with our lovely expert, Olivia Parks. And today I'm going to ask her a few questions about the show Undoing and how it came to be in the HBO hit. Hello, Olivia. How are you today?
Great, thanks. How are you?
Thanks. I'm great. So I want to get started, and I want to ask you a few questions. So my first question is, how is The Undoing a David E. Kelley show?
So the creator, David E. Kelley, he's had a long career beginning in late 1980s, and he is famous for his medical and legal dramas, those medical ones being such as Doogie Howser, MD, and then Ally McBeal, which is a legal drama, and The Undoing kind of encapsulates all of those essences, but he also did Big Little Lies, so you could see a lot of the ambiance, even some of the characters like Nicole Kidman carrying through. So it's kind of snowballed into this great show, like 30 years into his career, that became The Undoing. So that's kind of how you can tell about it's a very David E. Kelley show, just looking back at his career.
Yes, yes. Seeing that and seeing how he takes privileged white people, especially like Nicole Kidman, who's his muse for all these years, and it snowballed into this. This is a hit drama. This is an interesting show.
Yeah.
So next, we're going to show a very graphic scene. Viewers advised, matured. So my next question is, this scene
So they're gonna say that this is my legacy, and they can go fuck themselves because it's not my legacy. My legacy is you and my patients and your mum. Yeah?
You murdered a person, Dad.
Really? Yeah? Yeah?
murdered a person.
Not the real me.
This scene was very hard to watch, very graphic and heartbreaking. But talk to me about the necessity and importance of including this scene, and how does it impact the ending?
So obviously, this is a very explicit scene and of Jonathan actually killing Elena, but it wasn't actually going to be in the original. It wasn't originally going to be included, but Kelly wanted him to. He wanted his audience to be able to see it actually happening, so Jonathan wouldn't be an ambiguous murderer, because at this point he had so many opportunities to come clean, and it proves that white men can virtually get away with anything, but also try to get away with anything. Luckily, in this case, Jonathan was exposed by his wife, but this is a very Kelly-style ending in kind of relaying the entire plot and being able to let the audience keep on guessing who's the killer, and then we finally get to see it. And honestly, I didn't expect it. I almost didn't want to believe it.
Right. This was very graphic. This was a lot to swallow, and it just goes into how anything can happen to women, especially by people who have that type of power. The next question I want to ask you is, how do the themes of the undoing relate to issues in American society today?
So a majority of the main characters, like the direct family, are white. And the representation of the other, or the people who either are murdered or the number one person who's being accused, is an ethnic person or a person of color. And the Oscars actually came out with a new statement talking about proper representation, because even the character who plays Elena, she's supposed to be Latina, but she's actually Italian. Wow. So I think there's that represented within the show and the characters and the plot line itself, but you can also see that being very evident even behind the scenes. It also goes into just white men being able to exert their power on women, more importantly, women who are minorities and who are more susceptible to being in that situation, which is so unfortunate. And just being a woman myself, I was horrified and couldn't even fathom being in a situation such as that. And it just goes into Jonathan being a psychopath and pushing the limits to see how far he can go and exercising that white man privilege.
Yes, that privilege that just taken over him and taking over our society, which is very sad.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because you can see it in the show itself, but also behind the scenes, and I think they would have never realized that it was so actually happening behind the scenes, with just not including proper representation of the characters.
Oh yes, about the Italian woman, like that was crazy to me when I found this out. Yes, and I think that proper representation and like dismantling privilege is like important things that should be happening right now in our society. And Olivia, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention, because the show is a hit, but it needs to be examined and breaking apart for people to realize this has happened. This could happen, yeah. And I want to thank you, Olivia Parks, our HBO hit undoing expert. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bianca. Thank you for having me. It's lovely meeting you.
Lovely meeting you too. Audience, please give her a hand. Thank you, Olivia. And thank you to all our viewers for coming in and joining